All right, welcome back to the channel, and I'm here with Top 16 duels from the biggest retro format tournament ever, FrozenSoul. How are you doing? You're one of the biggest supporters of us.
I'm doing well. Doing a lot better than I thought I was going to do, to be honest.
Yeah.
I can't believe we got that far.
Yeah, you were going into the last round X1, so that means that you were 7-1,
Yeah.
which actually is a better record than I had in Swiss at Indianapolis when I won. I was 7-1-1 at the end of the tournament, so yeah, shout out to you for getting just such a good placement. And this tournament, honestly, should have been top 16, and I think they're going to change that after this.
Likely.
Yeah, but let's see the deck that you used to get that far.
All right, awesome. So getting right into it, I played Twilight, actually. Those that know me know that I'm a big LightSworn guy, have been my whole life.
Yep.
2010 it was my first competitive deck, so we'll get right into it. For the boss monsters, we played 2 JD,
Yep.
1 Dark Arm, 1 Caius, 1 Chaos Sword, and I like to include the honorary Gores and Trag in this lineup. The best cards out of all of these, honestly, bar none, have been these 3.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, I would definitely expect the other ones.
I resolved Dad once, I resolved JD twice.
Wow.
9 rounds of Swiss. Gores came down, and every turn it came down, it died, but it did what it needed to do.
Right.
I played 3 Hero Frogs, Tragodia is insane. In that matchup, I can steal anything in your deck because I have levels that range from 2 to 8. Every time I got to summon Caius and resolve it, I won. Every time I summoned Chaos Sorcerer and I resolved it, I won. So those were really the big performers.
Gotcha.
For sort of the hand traps, I played the 2 Honest and the 2 main deck Crows. Somebody had told me after the event that a lot of the newer lists were also on main deck Crows. Fun fact, this is actually, my main deck is the same 43 cards I played in 2010 with my first regional top. I was maining 2 Crows then.
Gotcha.
Just that buffed the dark count for Sork and Dad. I loved this event. Round 1 was the only matchup I felt bad in against Gadgets, and even in that matchup I hit Fortress twice.
Oh, well, that's really good.
In the guy's draw phase, and yeah, honest solos. There's not much to say about
one of the best cards in the format.
Yeah. For the rest of the dark monsters, I played 1 Gale, 1 Sangan, 1 Necro, 1 Plague, and Card Trooper's the honorary LightSworn, but we'll include it with the miscellaneous. I would not change these 4. I definitely would not change Gale. I think if you're playing Twilight and you're not maining Gale, it's a sin. I understand people decided this card solos everything.
Did you make Arcanite at all this weekend?
I did not. I'll show you the level 7 I played instead.
Okay.
It was a little bit spicy. It was a bit of a meta call. But actually, this card soloed Ab-Zero twice, so it did what it needed to do.
Yeah, that is one of the things about that card.
This card is the MVP game too, and you'll see that when we get to the side deck. Sangan is my hero. Don't cut Sangan from your Twilight list. Gardna is great, and Plague Spreader. I only used it to synchro summon twice.
Yeah.
Once. That was against the Hero Frog player I misplayed with, but yeah, only made 2 synchros all day, but Plague is in there, mostly to summon guys. This card wins games, turns out. My round 4 Hero Frog, this guy soloed it. I had 3 names engraved, 1 Dark, I milled 2 Darks, got the drop of Dad, 2 JDs, the whole hand turns on, don't skip out on cards. Getting into the LightSworns, we play 3 Lila and 3 Ryko. These should be pretty self-explanatory, at least game 1. You want all 3 of them. They're your biggest LightSworns that actually do things. Summoning her into bottomless or feeding her to Deep Prison is a really powerful play you're not losing one of. And a lot of people are scared with Ryko, so when you go back and you set Necros first or Plague second, or the random time you might set Card Trooper, for whatever reason people do that, it's good to bait out all the Ryko hate first, and you set Ryko after, and they actually have to play around it.
Right.
Plus, this card also solos Ab-Zero if they don't have an out to set monster. So it's just really good. I like 3 Ryko. For the rest of the names, I played 1 Celestia. Don't pop 2 back row with this card. You're bad. It plays into Starlight. Pop with Lila. Summon Celestia. Pop 1 more card. Play around it. Just be smart. 1 Wolf because I like to side him out. I hate breaking on this card. And I always draw the 1 of Garoth, Jane, Aaron, Arcus. This is the best LightSworn. This is the other best LightSworn. This one I hate the most. This is the other one I hate the most. But you have to play them. You need the names. There are some miscellaneous matchups where Aaron is good, but I feel like the 2 best performing LightSworns in the main would be these 2 by far.
Yep.
Setting this against Blackwing and having Shura run into it and not die, huge. And then summoning this against Icarus attack with an Honest in hand, also big.
Yep.
For spells, I played 1 Pot of Avarice, 1 Allure of Darkness, one charge to the Light Brigade, and then 3 Solar Recharge. Sort of like the draw engine of the deck, and it's one of the best draw engines in the game, to be honest. This card, I've always been on the fence about Avarice. I sided out game 2. I almost never bring it back in game 3, but when it resolves, you win.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you have to play. There's some really tight spots too, where like you might have Dead Recharge, or you might have Allure with no Dark in hand, and Avarice just gets you there. So I like it enough. I don't think I'd change it. Lure and Charge are self-explanatory. You earn Darks and Light Sworns, and Recharge. Recharge is what helps you get going, so you need it. Next up, 2 Monster Reincarnations. I would not cut these in Twilight. I would not play them in Christia, but I would not cut them in Twilight.
That makes sense.
You need ways to facilitate darts to the graveyard, and people think I hold it for JD, but 9 times out of 10, I end up getting back an Honest or a Lila with this, and it wins the game.
Right.
Be flexible in your thinking with this card. It doesn't have to be a boss monster every time you use it.
Very true.
Heavy Storm, that's self-explanatory. MST, this one I'm also on the fence about. This tournament, I opted to play this in the main to play around Starlight Road. There were a lot of game states and testing where I would heavy into 3 or 4 back road to make an aggressive push, and I needed Stardust to not come out. So I put the MST in to pop the heavy in that situation. But there's a good argument for this to be Cold Wave.
Cold Wave
is like
it's crazy.
Then the best spell card in the game, one of Brain Control in the main. This could also be Book of Moon. There's a lot of synergy with Book of Moon. I like Brain Control a little bit better, so I'm a more aggressive Lightsworn player. If you like playing a more mid-range build, I would say Book's fine, but it could be either or. And then for the traps in the main, 1 Dust Shoot, 1 T-Roar, and 1 Mirror Force.
Look at that. Is that Italian?
Yes, sir.
Trapola Batola right there.
Yeah. And then the Spiegelkraft. I had one person ask me what that card did, and I read it to him in German and looked at him like he was stupid. That wasn't today, but that was at one of my locals. Yeah. These I wouldn't change any of these. Especially because when you flip the Threatening Roar first and you set the Mirror Force after, they're assuming it's a second T-Roar.
Yeah.
And they I had one guy walk right into the Mirror Force. He committed a really big push, and I just flipped it and blew him out.
Alright, on to the side Nectar deck.
Side deck now, yeah. So the side deck is where things get really crazy. I had a lot of help with this. Shout out to Peacock, shout out to James Mattern, shout out to all the boys at Local, shout out to Juan Morales. So I expected there to be a lot of GBs. So I put in the Cyber Dragon, and the MVP of my side deck was the Double Thunder King. I would not change this. T-King on his solos. There was my round 8 matchup when I sat down and figured out I was playing GBs for round 8. I was terrified. Game 2 of Thunder King walked, he lost. So it's good.
Did he have Death Proving Grounds?
Yes,
Yep.
3 of them. Game 3.
Wow.
Or game 2. Kaiku, this card is nuts in the Hero Frog matchup. I did not play Hero Frog ever in my life before today. I was overly terrified. Peacock's like side 1 Kaiku. It turns off the miracles and all the grave stuff. I was like, I ate that. And yeah, Kaiku was the other best performer in the side deck. Light Barrier Statue. This was another thing Peacock recommended. Shout out to Peacock again. This card plus Honest or Mirror Force or Necro or Threatening Roar makes your opponent have to play so weird to out this, and that gives the Twilight deck enough turns if they open soft to just establish the pressure they need to kill you. So it's like 9 times out of 10 when I summon it, it's just there to be bait, make you waste all your heavy hitters, and then I blow you out 2 turns later, which happened a fair number of times. And then the spiciest card in my side deck,
Possessed.
this card resolved, I stole a Duke Block, I won the game. Basically, it's a dark monster, so when you side a dark out, you can keep your dark count the same for Sork and for Dad, but the effect of this card is insane. Normal summon, declare priority tribute, your Duke Block is our Duke Block. and the amount of frog players that just immediately tilt when this resolves on them, it was out of left field. I wouldn't change it. And then Consecrated for Blackwings. This only came in once. I only played 1 Blackwing, and I 2-0'd him. It did what it needed to do. For spells, I played My Body, Nobleman, Minecon, Cold Wave. I would not change any of these 4. This was the last one I was really on the fence about. I thought about Lightning Vortex just as another way to get darks out of my hand into the grave, and I think there's a good argument. But I was really worried about Blackwing and Gladiator Beast this tournament, and I didn't want to lose to a random Dark Arm pop or Gazarus pop, so I wanted an out games 2 and 3 to that. And it worked out. The one matchup that I did have this against the Destruction Effect, I won the following turn. So at least for this event, I think My Body was the better pick. The rest of these are pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
This card is my favorite card for people to side against me because I side out all my randos.
Did you ever consider Giant Trunate?
No.
Don't like that card? Don't fuck with it? All right.
Cold Wave is just better Trunate for my deck.
I mean, that's not even up for debate.
Double Decree, and then the one of Royal Oppression.
Ooh, Royal Oppression, spicy.
Royal Oppression was the other spicy one. I had it come up one time where the guy outed Barrier Statue, and on resolution I flipped Oppression. He wasted his whole hand trying to play around it, and it just cooked him. So it is what it is. And I think Decree is really like non-negotiable in Lightsworn.
That's the OTK against the Black Wave.
Yeah. When I bring Decree in, I side all 3 of the traps out, typically. Game 2. And then game 3, I almost always cut back 1 Decree. It's just the side pattern I get familiar with as I put stuff back in.
Yep.
You mill it more often than you see it anyway, but when you see it, it wins the game. Out now for the extra, we have the best card in the extra deck, Gore's Token.
Yep.
That's your infinite attack stat beat stick. Getting into it for real though, we have the Mistworm, Colossal, Claw Ruler, Avenging Knight Parshath, which was the only level 8 synchro I made all day.
Really?
Yes.
I never make that thing.
I made it against Blackwings when he was top decking and I had Honest at hand. I was like, nothing you top deck here gets out of this.
Yep.
You just lose. Dark End never came up. Stardust never came up. The spicy tech that I had against Ab-Zero decks.
Right.
Because I play Gale in the main. You go into Armor Master in defense mode, and then they can't Ab-Zero crash to pop your board, and they have literally no way of dealing with this card in defense mode. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Never came up, but if it did, in testing it was phenomenal. Black Rose, Goyo. Tempest Magician was just in case of time. The effect to be able to burn 500 in game 3, I felt might be relevant if I played a lot of frogs. In locals, it's relevant when I play frogs.
Yep.
I played 3 hero frogs. They never got close to time.
You're a pretty fast player in general.
Yeah, the one that did get close to time, we had 2 minutes left, and he drew his last card for turn and just offered the handshake. He couldn't out the Paiku.
Right.
Urquizzas was similar logic to the Peacock profile. It's another really good win con at time if your opponent's in a simplified game state. Any level 4 plus Plague, any level 3 plus Gale. Make this guy swing into a set, pass, and they just kind of lose. And then Armory and Cataster to round out 5 and 4, and then the 1 Chimera tech. I did not play a single Machina deck during the tournament, but every Machina deck I played in testing I beat. It's not a matchup I was overly worried about, but it's useful to have it, I think.
Yeah, agreed. I wanted to ask you, so you went 7-2, right?
Yeah, 7-2.
And what were your only 2 losses?
I lost round 6 to Hero Frogs. I misplayed game 1. He had Gore's defense mode, Treeborn defense mode, and he made Cataster, and he was trying to hold the Cataster to deck me out. And I don't remember the exact play line I did. I think I Aaron sent his Gores back, but I had 4 Lightsworns and a Goyo. I should have just crashed the Lightsworns into Goyo Guardian, and then Goyo killed the Gores. Because my hand was JD honest. I have game next turn no matter what he draws.
Yeah.
So that I can avoid the deck out, not lose on the spot there. And then round 9 I played GBs. It was the 3rd GB round in a row. And he was a really good player. He got 4th place. I can't complain. He's sitting right over there.
Yeah.
He's sitting. Yeah, he's a really good guy. He played a spicy tech in GBs I literally haven't seen since I was 15 years old. Game 1, he opens Rescue Cat into Arabellum Sam Knight.
Oh.
Yeah. And game 2, he got me with the same play. Cat into Arabellum Sam Knight, make Rio bounce my set, go for games. So it ended up working out for him. It was really good. GBs was the one matchup I tried to fade the most. I got paired against 3 of them. It is what it is.
Yeah, he still went 7-2 though. That's
still
incredible.
went 7-2. A lot farther than I thought I was. And there was one TwilightSworn player that also got to round 9, but I think I placed higher than that.
Yeah.
So I should be the highest seeded, like the highest placing Lightsworn player.
Yeah, I think you are, and I think that honestly, this tournament should have been top 16. Hopefully, in the future, they will be. And if you did it once, you can do it again for sure.
Yeah.
So
YCS Orlando better be ready. I'm taking it down.
Yeah, next February we'll see you there. But yeah, shout out to you, Frozen. Thank you so much for being a big supporter of the IMNerd podcast.
Big shout out to the IMNerd community.
Yeah.
I give you all my money because I like your community the most. A lot of people have asked me if I sponsor stuff. I usually don't. This has been the only one I've sponsored. Like,
Yeah,
I
the
fuck
Frozen
with
Soul
like
Cup
that,
was a
so-
$1,000 cash tournament that we held.
Be on the lookout. I'm in the process of trying to find sponsors to run an 8-tournament gauntlet where first place for each tournament gets $1,000 and an invite to a finals tournament. It plays for 10 grand.
That would be insane.
So with any luck, we'll make that happen in the future. Hopefully after Christmas. That's the goal.
All right, well, thank you, and yeah, good luck in the next coming tournaments. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.